We're out for a little landscape photography on location video. I haven't done these in a while, just because I've been so focused on other things. I just really felt like grabbing large format, talking about large format photography, doing some on location stuff. Because this right here, this area, which isn't too far from home, has always captivated me because of these big rock formations that are all around, and I've always wondered how best to capture them. I think black and white, large format is the way to go. Now, I've already loaded up some FP4 from Ilford into my film holders, some sheet film, so good old 4x5. And my goal here is to find 4 subjects, 4 compositions that do a good job representing what I usually look for in large format photography. And usually that involves a lot of texture and a lot of interesting subject. I don't think trying to fill the frame with as much as possible is a smart way to go. I do still think that composition, lighting, yeah, something compelling is still important. But this area right here, this canyon, such a cool area, but finding a way to frame up these rocks has always eluded me. I think I'm gonna have to hike up the trail a little bit. Be the best way to approach it. Anyway, this should be fun. Thanks for joining me. Let's get into it. This right here is an example of why I kind of want to think about large format. And it's this layer here. I should be able to capture all of these layers of canyon walls. And because I'm shooting almost directly into the sun, backlit, I can get some really cool like light coming towards the lens, I think. Let's just pull out the viewfinder and see. That's gonna be really cool. So that's what my viewfinder app is claiming it'll look like. It's never quite exactly the same framing, but it gets it close enough that I can base a lot of my composition off of it. Because it is such a bright and sunny day, ISO 125 was the right choice. Also, means I can get a lot in focus very easily. Not a lot of struggle here to make sure everything will be in focus front to back. And I like that as a composition. Oh, sorry about that.
No problem.
I gotta hurry. There are going to be more cyclists, I guarantee. I'm going to meter for the shadows, because often I make the mistake of making my shadows too dark because I want contrast, and that will result in just completely blacked out shadows. Like f22 and a half at 1/30th. And there's definitely going to be a bad lens flare if I don't block out some of the sunlight, which I'll do with the dark slide. 3, 2, 1. I gotta get off this path before more cyclists run me over. Exposing for the shadows means that you're going to be slightly, very slightly overexposing to try to preserve shadows because you're dealing with a negative film. Your shadows are whites your highlights are black. Too much shadow, too much darkness, and you can't recover detail in the shadows. And since I'm very backlit, I want as much detail in these shadows as possible. So hence the exposing for the shadows. If I had more time, I would have probably grabbed a filter and done like a red filter on that. Get even more contrast in the sky. But just feeling pressured to get off their trail. It's not, it's everyone's trail. When I was envisioning this photo outing, my first idea was to take a collection of photos, 4 photos, and arrange them almost like a window pane, one for each corner. And try to figure out, like, you know, a way to best represent the landscape. We've got these granite rock formations. Next would be something like, I don't know, long grasses. We got a little creek that runs through here. And arrange them to kind of represent the elements of, you know, the elements of the outdoors. And I'm not really talking about like wind, water, fire, and earth. I'm more talking about like the trees, the water, the rock formations, and I don't know, something about the sky perhaps, but just representations of those things. And this specific area is remote enough and local enough that I think it'll give me exactly what I need. That's my vision. We shall see how it actually turns out. Okay, we're gonna head up the road a little bit. There's a trailhead, not too far. That's my goal. That when we walk through some woods, get some nice views of the foothills, and I think that'll be perfect for at least 2 of the photos that I'm looking to get. The third, I think I'm gonna try to find a creek, a way to look at it in a way that's more contrasted, more unique, has good lighting to it, because right now it's completely in shadow. And like thick bush too. Well, this seems to be a popular little location. Like 4 or 5 other cars here. Another one just passed by. They'll probably turn around and park right behind me. But yeah, this is exactly what I want. This hike right here. There we go. Now we're ready. Remember how part of my goal was to have a photo of water? This might actually be exactly the right spot. As in, I might photograph that opening right there with the shadows, get my polarizer out and photograph through there. Because when I create little ripples, it gets these really cool light beams. If I get the right vantage point, shooting more downward, I'll get only water. Yeah, let's do that. Let's set up right here. Yeah, this right here, see how that light ripples through the frame? That's what I want. And I'm focused on a very narrow portion right in the center here. And I've added some front standard tilt to really accentuate that shallow depth of field. Yeah, that right there, that's gonna look nice. Hi, puppy.
How's it going?
Not too bad, how you doing?
Good, can I just sneak through your truck?
Yeah, you go for it, yeah.
Awesome, thanks.
Of course.
Have a good one.
Hey, you too. It's always difficult to get a reading against water, so I'm just gonna meter in a different shadow next to the water. We'll go halfway between 5.6 and f8 so that we can go 1/60th exactly. Here we go. Okay, to the observant eye, I staged that mainly because I forgot to hit the record button on my camera. Also, to the observant eye, I did not use a filter. I was thinking about it. I was afraid the polarizer would cut out too much of the glistening water, which is what I was going for, that glisten. And since I didn't use a filter for the other shot, if I started using it now, I was afraid it might not tie together as nicely. So while I did pack them, I think I'm gonna opt for no filters this time around again, just to keep it consistent. Maybe you can hear it in my panting and wheezing for oxygen, but I've been hiking for a while and trying to make progress. But what I'm looking for is either a really good view of the hills or a tree that has a lot of cool texture and characteristic that I can photograph, almost filling the frame. So far, seen a lot of trees, a lot of potential, but nothing quite like I want. But this opens up ahead, and I think that's where I'm going to set up for my hills photo. Just get some pine trees in the back, far back, hills kind of zigzagging between each other. You know, same old, same old. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a tree over there. See, this right here is a nice view. These kind of hills that cross each other. I do think just these little teeny tiny pine trees with the puffy clouds, that might work out just a little bit better for me. Yes, I think we got it. Yeah, I just need to get a little further forward. Actually, this right here, this might be perfect. Let's check the app again. According to my viewfinder app, this view right here is much, much nicer. Hello there. Hello.
Come on. Come on. Stop. Hey, come on.
Between the dogs and the cyclists, must make you feel unwelcome on the trails. We are framed up and we are in focus. Let's meet her and get this done. As I suspected, there are no shadows. I guess we'll go F11 at 1/30th. Just to try to get as much in focus as possible, but I still don't want too much motion blur. There's a little teeny tiny breeze, and if I go too slow, it will 100% cause some shake. Close that up, prime that. Dark slide comes out. We just take the photo. So I have been thinking a lot about what to do about my fourth photo. I'm kind of thinking about potentially, instead of doing a tree, which is, I don't know, we have a tree there, the big cottonwood tree, maybe some of this like grasses, these sagebrush that are catching the light, these little puffballs of seeds. They're catching that light really nicely. And with the dark background that's like the rose bushes, I feel like shoot it at this side, you know, like a collection, just like this one right here. The sun not exactly directly behind it, but off to like a third line. It might be perfect. It might be exactly what I want in order to get this fourth photo, which would be a close-up of these grasses. Especially if I took it in such a way that there was no sky, you know, that was blocked out and it was just dark. Yeah, that's a nice representation of Idaho because we do have a lot of shrub. I gotta tilt my camera again. That's the goal. Oh, this is the challenging one. This is the hardest because all I want is one single flower stalk in focus, and I've achieved it, but now I have to really make sure I meter this right. If that's overexposed, that little flower, the whole shot gets ruined. Okay, 5.6 at 1/125th. Okay, just gonna block the sun just in case and wait for still, for calm. And just as I say that, everything starts shaking. And there it is, the final photo of the collection. And I'll show you this photo, and then after that, I'll show you the collection as a whole. This little art piece is what I'll label it. And what I'll call it, I haven't decided yet, but that'll all depend on how it actually turns out and if the photos are nice enough to tie together. But I think they will be. I'm pretty sure they will be. I mean, I hope they will be. You'll have to let me know what you think of the photos as a whole, as a collection. And if you want to scrutinize the layout, I'd love to know what your feedback is as far as ordering them. My whole thought was 2 on the top, you've got the sky in them. 2 on the bottom, you have those detail shots. But as far as which one pairs with what, I'm still trying to figure it out. This is all conjecture because I haven't actually seen them yet. I'm just assuming I'm gonna have a hard time figuring it out since I usually do. But you'll have seen them before I will since, you know, they're still undeveloped and you get it. It's a weird system. Okay, now that you've seen the photos, I'm hoping to make my point. The goal here with large format is 2 things. Obviously, a bigger picture. You've got more resolution on film. Honestly, I could probably get away with 300 megapixels on these photos, which is unnecessary. But more importantly than that, you have the standard movements. Front standard, back standard. And with those, you can manipulate your scene in a much more unique way. So I was able to get a shallower depth of field than f5.6 would allow, thanks to front tilt. I was able to get more in focus than I would have been able to because of rear tilt. And applying these principles to your photography opens up way more creative freedom. And I'm not even talking about the swing movements. Super fun to mess with. So my whole point here, if you want to get into large format, do it. It's unlike anything else out there. Don't do it just to get a bigger picture. Do it because you need it. Do it because you want to experience that process, the movements that are available to you, the slow, methodical approach. If that's something you're into, nothing beats large format for that. It really forces me to be very selective about how I compose and capture my photos. And that has been the best learning tool that I've experienced so far. Have any questions, comments, leave them below. Love to start a conversation about this amazing form of photography. Really appreciate you joining me. If you like this video and want to see more of my content, this is usually what I post. This type of stuff. Every once in a while I'll do like gear video, product photography, that kind of thing if the need arises. But for the most part, this is the stuff that I prefer to do. So if you're interested in that, click that subscribe button. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. And then we gotta hike back. 'Cause it's all an illusion. Even though everyone knows how this works.